What's going on, people? It's the Xbot 448, and I decided to make this video today for you guys because I've gotten questions on Twitter, and it's basically about 4K televisions. You know, with the release of the Xbox One S right around the corner, August 2nd, you know, 2 terabyte, a lot of people are looking to buy a 4K television with HDR. Alright, I have 2 points in this video I want to make. One of them, I was kind of helped out by the Don from the next podcast, so big shout out to the Don. He helped me out when it came to the wording on the HDR, because with the Xbox One S, it uses HDR10. There are 2 types of HDR out there. There's HDR10, and then there's Dolby Vision. With Dolby Vision, it isn't compatible with the Xbox One S yet. Talking to the Don, he said that, you know, there are going to be firmware updates coming down the line for people who have their TVs hooked up to the internet and stuff, to where these TVs with the HDR tech in them will be able to run both. But as of now, it's either HDR10 or Dolby Vision. Now, the good thing is, anything that doesn't say Dolby Vision is HDR10. It could say HDR Premium, it could say HDR Pro, anything like that. That means it's HDR10. Because Dolby, being such, you know, a big company, and it's a trademark, the name is a trademark, they're going to use Dolby Vision to promote their HDR. So any TV that has HDR Premium, HDR Pro, anything like that is HDR10. So hopefully that helps out right there. The biggest point I want to make here, because of what I've seen on Twitter, and to help everybody out in the community in buying a 4K television, is something called the refresh rate within your television. And they measure refresh rate in what they call hertz. It's HTZ as the abbreviation. To find the refresh rate, you can ask people that are working in whatever store, but if you want to go, you go online, right? You put the model number in. Like, say you're looking at a Samsung, you find out the model number for the Samsung. You put Samsung 4K model number and then specs. It'll usually bring you to the Samsung website, or LG website, or Sony website. You see what I'm saying? It'll bring you there, and you just hit the specs part of that page. Now, the refresh rate will actually be in kind of like the power area of specs. And what I've been seeing from people who have been sharing links with me, they're sharing a bunch of TVs that look like a great deal until you look at the refresh rate, and it's 60 hertz. I want to let people know, if we're not talking gaming right now, if we're talking just movies and television, 60 hertz is okay. All right, because movies and television, they run shows at 24 frames per second. When you're looking at a refresh rate and you're looking at hertz, like 1 hertz is 1 frame per second. All right. Now, that might sound good to some people. If you're running a game that's 60 frames per second, you're like, well, 60 hertz is fine because they equal out. Here's the deal. I'm going to relate this to a car and a car engine. Say you have a car that goes, I don't know, 230 miles an hour. Are you going to run that car 230 miles an hour all the time? No, you're not. You're going to burn out your engine a lot quicker. You're going to have a lot more problems. That's what I'm relating it to when it comes to the refresh rate on a television. You don't want the max refresh rate to be the max frames per second of the game that you're playing. You want the refresh rate to be higher, which is why 120 hertz would be the minimum to go when you're talking about a 4K television for gaming. I would say the optimal for me is 240 hertz. Now, you're going to pay a little bit more when it comes to the hertz on the television. Companies definitely believe, you know, bigger numbers, bigger price. But I think the 120 hertz is good for people who just want that solid experience. It makes the transitions smoother. All right, the refresh rate, it's not maxing you're not maxing out your television's refresh rate when you're playing a 60 frame per second game. That's what I'm trying to tell people, all right? I actually want to go 240 because it makes it even lower, all right? So I'm not using my car engine slash TV to like even close to its max. And that's what I'm going to do. Now, me, myself, I'm waiting on the 4K television until the same year the Scorpio comes out. That's probably when I'm going to upgrade to 4K. But I just want to let people know, when it comes to these TVs, it's not too difficult. I mean, there's other things like contrast ratio and stuff like that. But the biggest thing to me, all right, when it comes to a television is the refresh rate, which, like I said, is measured in hertz. So basically what it boils down to is 120 is okay, 120 hertz is okay, 240 is probably, I would say, the sweet spot for me. But 120 hertz will work absolutely fine. All right, when you start seeing the 60 hertz and stuff like that, I personally would stay away from that because I don't want my TV running full speed all the time. But that's pretty much it for now. Like I said, 120 is okay, 120 hertz is okay, 240 hertz I feel is probably optimal. I think they might even go higher than 240. But it's up to you on that. But don't fall for the 60 hertz thing. As usual, guys, if you like the video, you like the topics, definitely hit that thumbs up button for me. Hit up the comment section. I want to know if this video was helpful for you guys, that are looking for a 4K HDR television. And as usual, subscribe. But as for now, this is the Xbot 448, and I am definitely signing off.
It took you long enough.